really saw opportunities to grow when I realized that I could bring something different to the marketplace.
We scaled our business. October is when we started of 2021. So we've been scaling for almost 10 months.
2019. So as I kind of mentioned before, we were a full service agency when it was just one person. And as I started adding people, really what it was a consulting, me being a consultant with a couple of people that were working for me. And I realized that it wasn't scalable.
You know, as a homegrown agency, we have a lot of tendency to want to wear different hats. And so that was my scenario very early on in, the start of our marketing agency. I wanted to be X position, and I wanted to be X, I wanted to be, Y, I wanted to be the whole alphabet. And so what I realized is that cut into my productivity and that cut into my ability to service my clients. So then I had to make that focal point decision and say, now it's time to scale out, to really trust someone else to handle certain aspects of the business. That way I can better work on the business and not necessarily in the business.
I grew up in a time before technology, so I have the traditional marketing sense. So a lot of marketing is not only setting up that technology, but also knowing how to deliver the right message in a way that's going to resonate with actual humans, because a lot of times we forget that we are talking to humans still. So in order to scale, I realized that I need to work with companies in not only setting up that technology, but also making sure they know that they are not pushing their customers away and drawing in new business. So that goes into a lot of other technology systems as well as strategy. So it's always an opportunity to grow.
For the first 4.5 years of our business in Backstage, we capped our client base. We only took a limited amount of clients. And the reason for this was so that we could build processes and procedures and implement technology like our client dashboard, and create capacity so that when we did scale, we were able to roll that ball and we had everything in place to generate results for our clients.
It wasn't a good business model. So in 2019, we launched in 2014, but 2019, I really kicked in hyper gear of figuring out how to run a business that wasn't reliant on one person. So that was our pivot point. I actually think that COVID, like a lot of agencies, lost a lot of revenue really quickly because no one knew what was going on initially. For us, 2020 ended up being our best year. 2021 beat that, and 2022 is going to probably double our revenue from last year. But it was all based off of having a plan. So that same game plan that we talked about with your ad campaign, we also developed it for ourselves and kind of worked on our own things, not just from our advertising and branding standpoint, but also from a structure, from a processy standpoint as well, which really started in 2019. And then COVID kind of allowed us to have a little bit more time for a few months to amplify that and really focus on it. And I went into COVID saying, hey, for 1 week, I was like, I hope I survive this. What's going to go on? No one knew what was going on. And then after that, week 2, we created that plan. I said, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to come out the other side better for it. And it's really kind of elevated us by taking that approach to dramatically increase our size over the last 3 to 4 years.
I have a really interesting, position on this. So I scaled really, really fast at first, and it was great. I was like, this is amazing. I'm doing so great. And then I had a hard time keeping up with it at first. And so I hired a team, and there was really this growth period to go through. And so sometimes I see people saying like, oh, I wish I was growing faster. But really, when you're growing slow, it gives you the opportunity to see the leaks that are happening, to see the systems that aren't working, and to make those updates along the way. What I learned from having really fast growth all of a sudden was that it can be super stressful, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you're growing at a methodical, systematic way. And so when I started having all my systems in place, after I experienced that, I started putting all these systems in place. And then I said, okay, if we grow by, at 10%, are we going to be able to handle that volume? Is there anything that's going to break? When we got to the point where we said, no, we're ready to move forward, that's when we started scaling even more.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.